Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again, and today's deck tech is something we've seen before. I'm not going to lie about it. It's still a new card. It's still from Phyrexia Orb will be one, but this style of commander is something we've been around for a while. It turns up every so often, and it's always worth going over it because we do get new toys as things go along. And I have gone down its enters the battlefield effect. Let's go with that way. So, what am I talking about today? But before I start talking about it, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Leave me a like if you like the video. And if you don't like the video, don't hit the dislike button. Just leave me a comment. Tell me what I did wrong. I'd much prefer that. At least I can then answer it and engage with you. So, today's deck tech is all about Malcator Purity Overseer. 1 white and blue for a 1/1 Phyrexian Elephant. I think it's Wizard or Warlock. Can't remember which way around it is now. I'll have a look when we change the screen. When Malcator enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 colours Phyrexian Golem artifact token. And at the beginning of your end step, if 3 or more artifacts entered your battlefield under your control this turn, get another 3/3. Pretty straightforward, really, isn't it? It's your very atypical blue-white blink deck. And that's how I've gone down this road. The second ability of Malcator is something I might have to think about in the future. But at the moment, it's more a case of let's see how many colourless Phyrexian Golem creature tokens we can get into play. And to do that, we're using the usual selection of blue-white cards. So, this is what the deck looks like as usual. I'll go through my land base, and then I'll go through the ramp side of things, and then we'll start talking about some of the cards. And there's a few interests. There's interesting if you've never played anything like this before. So, here we go. So, plains and islands, all the dual... both versions of the castles, and then all the dual blue-white lands I control, including Command Castle, Fabled Passage, Fortified Beach, Glacial Floodplain, Glacial Fortress, Idyllic Beachfront. You know the general gist of what I'm getting at here. And all the other ones, along with Temple of the False God and Reliquary Tower down the bottom. Pretty straightforward. I will point out Vantress is quite useful to just let you scry, and I do like having the Castle Arden Vale in here as well, just so we can get a blocker if we need one. Anyway. The ramp side of things is a little bit more based on MTGO than it is anything else. So, it is going with Mana Crypt, it is going with Mana Vault, it is going with Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Azorius Signet, Marble Diamond, Sky Diamond, plus, Solemn Simulacrum. As you can tell, I'm not really going for the second half of the ability of Malcator because we're not going to have 3 or more artifacts into the battlefield under our control in a turn. Now it is something I am thinking about, and I think there may be a way of doing it with treasure tokens, but I haven't quite got that far with it yet. So I've kept it more along the first thing. We just want to keep blinking Malcator in and out to get as many 3/3 golems as we can. So how are we going to do that? Well, if you've seen blue-white blink decks before, you probably know what's coming next. Cloud Shift, exile the creature, return it to the battlefield under your control, enters the battlefield, get a token. A lot of the cards do the same in here. Like Ephemerate, which is a bit better because it has got rebound, so I prefer that, and we can do it at the end of a turn, so, hey I went with Ponder in my deck. You can go with whichever one mana one you want to go with. There's Brainstorm, there's... the one with Scry 2, then draw a card. There's all of them in here, but I like Ponder because it goes a little bit deeper. The other option here is to play Sensei's Divining Top if you wanted to. I might be more tempted to do that if we want the extra, if you're going down the artifact side of things, but, Ponder's good enough for me. Change to suit your own abilities and what you want to play. 2 drops. We've got Flicker Fate, we've got Momentary Blink, we've got Otherworldly Journey. They all do the same thing. Exile them, bring them back, get your golem. It's all good. I've also, for a change, put in Monk Class. Now, Monk Class is a bit of an unusual one. I'll give you that. It's probably not one you're expecting to see in here. But if we can get a second spell cast and it costs up to, costs 1 less, and then that's nice. 2 mana is quite nice to have the ability to bounce something that's upsetting us and annoying us. And then for 3 mana... at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. For as long as it remains exiled, you may cast this card as long as you cast another spell this turn. So you do get the cost reduction. You get the 1 colourless mana cost reduction off doing that. And I thought it's worth trying out in this deck. So hence why it's here. Obviously I've gone the rest through the ramp there. Acrobatic Maneuvers is another one. It's instant, blink it, bring it back. but you do get to draw a card off it, so that's kind of a nice upside. Eerie Interlude does it massively, so you can actually save your whole board if someone's casting Wrath of God, or you need to cast something like that. Not that there's anything, well, there is one version of it, two versions of it in this deck, but you know, it does help from that point of view. Ghost Away doesn't even target your creatures, you just exile all of them, then return those cast to the battlefield under our control at the beginning of the next end step. Again, a way to protect our creatures from effects. Teferi's protections in, doesn't protect, it phases them out, so you don't get the comes into play triggers, but you know, it's a blue-white deck. Why would you not play Teferi's protection to save yourself? I've gone with Brimaz as one of the other creatures in the deck, purely because I quite like the fact that it's got vigilance, it attacks, it gives us a token, and it's not bad, you know, 3/4 for 3 mana. That's pretty feasible. But we've got some targets, obviously, that go well if we haven't got Malcator in play, and we've got all the blink effects in play. We've got some other tricks like Fiend Hunter, Flicker Wisp is here. Fiend Hunter just does exile as creature that's annoying you. Flicker Wisp gets you to do one of your own ones, so you know, blinky time. Displace does the same thing. Exile up to 2 creatures you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. Yep, so you get comes into play effects again. Dictator Crucifix is here purely so I can flash it in at the end of the person's turn before my turn, so I can get that extra card draw before anyone else does, instead of playing something like Howling Mine. Reflector Mage is a great target for the flicker effects, bouncing all your opponent's creatures. They can't then be played back again, gives you a bit of happiness. Urza's in because I'm still trying to get this to do the meld bit with the Might Stone, which is over here. But also it does help. It makes our instants of sorceries and our artifacts 1 cheaper, so that's pretty good. It does mean, you know, if we've got Urza in play and we get Soul Ring for free, Mana Vault for free, even the Elixir that's always standard in my decks nowadays may come here for free. But you know, or you know, drops the cost of all of these by 1, and Solemn Simulacrum goes down to 3. But we'll see. But it's really here because I want to try and do the meld, and it's the first blue-white deck I've built for a while where I'm trying to do the meld again. So yeah. I have got Anointed Procession in here. We are making tokens at the end of the day, whether they're Brimaz tokens, Golem tokens. I figured we might as well try and make more of them. And I had a slot left at the end of the build, and I was like, yeah, okay, we'll go with Anointed Procession just for that little bit of factor. Felidar Guardian is a creature that does the blink effect, which is nice. So does Restoration Angel. Semester's End comes from Strixhaven, and you get to exile in a number of target creatures and planeswalkers, and then bring them back in. They get a little bit bigger, and the planeswalkers get an extra counter on them. So, you know, I'm not going to complain about that. Angel of Condemnation is also a repeatable blink effect. It's quite nice. You can get in for 3, then blink a creature out, or blink a creature that's being blocked out. Has to be another one though. You can't save the Angel, so be careful when you're attacking with the Angel. Day of Judgment, along with Doomscars here, just to control the board. Curiosity Crafter is another card that I've sort of like started falling for. I do like it, coming from Commander 2021. Whenever a creature token you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. We should have a lot of creature tokens, so we should be able to do something with that. And Spark Double, yeah, just copy anything you want, really. Double up on your planeswalkers, double up on your... There's no point... What I would say, though, double up on anything, but there's not a lot of point in doubling up on your Malcator. So bear that in mind, but doubling up on some of the other things is quite good. Thassa's here as well. At the beginning of your end step, exile one other target creature, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. So you always get to blink this in out to get another token, which is nice. Archmage Emeritus, because we are casting instants and sorceries a fair bit in this deck, so we must get a little bit of card draw. If it dies, it dies. I'm not overly concerned about saving this one. And the card that started all the flicker fun was always Brago. I've included it here because it seemed a bit pointless not to be honest. So Brago's in here. You could just literally swap these 2 commanders around for this deck. But the reason I've left Brago in the deck is I just like Brago. It's a 2/4 flyer that does everything we want it to do. So, go for it. Ephera, God of Polis is in here as well. Just gives a little bit of card draw. We should have creatures entering the battlefield. And that does draw us a card, and if we can do some of the flickering things on Malcator or one of the other creatures that produces tokens during someone else's turn, we just get to draw some extra cards as we go along, so that's why it's here. Narset is really just to give us the rebound ability. I like the idea of being able to rebound Cloud Shift, Flicker, Momentary Blink, Otherworldly Journey, etc. So hence why it's here. And likewise, Ojutai the Exquisite Blade is quite nice. Comes into play, you gain 2 life, scry 2, and your second spell you get to exile a creature. And you should be doing that reasonably regularly, especially with Monk class on the go. Solemn Sim I've already mentioned. So anyway, more targets for our flickering is next. Reverend Hoplite gives us a whole load of soldiers. See Beyond Reality is also a nice little, you can do both. Exile target creature you control, then return it, and exile target creature you don't control. So sorcery speed removal for the most annoying thing on the board, and a blink, so we can't complain. Angel of Invention is also a nice target to blink, especially because you can just do it. You can cast it the first time just as the 2/1 and get the 2 servos. Then the second, if you can blink it, then you can bring it back in as a 4/3, and you still get all the pump value. So yeah, that's why it's here. Doomscar I've mentioned. The other 2 traditional targets for blink decks in my mind, Cavalier of Dawn and Cavalier of Gales, are both in. Might as well get the card draw and the destruction of a permanent. Yes, your opponents do get a golem, but yeah, you'll have your own 3/3s to block it with. Deal with it later. Teshir, Tankener, Armourer, I've kept in. I was umming and ahhing about this, but I decided it's quite a nice way of cheating some of our artifacts into play that we've got down here. I'm not 100% sure it deserves to be in this deck. It's probably one I may remove at some stage and change it around. But for the moment, this is how the deck's going to play out. So we'll see how it goes. Cloud Blazer, 2 cards, 2 life, 2/2 flyer for 5. Blink, blink, blink. And also, you know, we've got Teferi. We've got Teferi Inventor in here. Teferi for the card draw and the untap. All the little bit of removing stuff. If we can get up to 8, I'll be very, very happy to do all the exiling things as we go along. And Ventor's here just to make sure we can do the whole exile things and return it. It's also quite nice if you need to Alpha Strike. The -1 Alpha Strike is something people forget about, and it really does upset them when it happens. Mightstone I've mentioned because, you know, Urza's here. 6 drops. Pegasus Guardian is a nice little adventure card that does the whole blinking thing for us. And it's also nice when it comes into play, you start getting those Pegasus flying tokens as well. So it is expensive to play, even off an adventure. But at the end of the day, if we've got a permanent that's left play, because we're going to be blinking stuff, playing this out, yeah, why not? Get a token. Elspeth, Sun's Champion. Blockers in the first attempt, destroy everything with 4 or more in the second attempt, and if we can get up to the -7, you're probably going to win the game. Another version of our Reverend Hoplite is the Evangel of Heliod, where our devotion to white gives us all those soldier tokens. Yeah, just with Evangel of Heliod in play and Anointed Procession, you'll end up with 6 tokens, so bear that in mind. Farewell, just to exile everything that's annoying us. My best get at the moment is, I think I've exiled about... One game I played, I think I exiled nearly 60 permanents with it, and everyone got very upset with me very quickly. But hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. Wispweaver Angel does the whole exile and return thing. Shark Typhoon I chucked in because obviously, you know, we've got 28 creatures, 35 other spells, so we are going to get some non-creature spells cast regularly when this is out. I like Shark tokens. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Blue decks, you probably should be playing Shark Typhoon unless you're playing some real fast Merfolk commander deck. Consecrated Sphinx to help us draw out some extra cards. And then Teferi Temporal Archmage to untap our permanents. Yes, the -10 would be fantastic, but, you know, not worried about that. I'm more interested in the +1s to get 2 cards and put one of our hand at the bottom of the library and to untap the permanents, hence why it's here. The last few things... Jinga Tax's Progress Tyrant hasn't seen enough play from me at all, hence why it's in this deck, and it does upset our opponents when they, you know, their first time they cast anything during their turn gets countered, but we get to copy things, which I like the idea of, you know, copying Cloud Shift to be really quite nice. Angel of Serenity, traditional target for the blink decks, does take out the permanents. Hopefully you can keep it in play so it doesn't get, so they don't get them back. And then I chucked in a backup win condition, Approach of the Second Sun. It deserves to be in most white decks. It's criminally underplayed from my mind. But, you know, obviously it is a backup because what we're trying to do is win through hundreds and hundreds of Golem tokens produced by Malcator backed up with Anointed Procession. So that's the deck. That's my take on the Purity Overseer. Like I say, it's a bit of a traditional blink deck. I am still thinking about the second half of this. So, there may be a second deck tech with Malcator coming in later on in the, well, next month or so once I've thought about it. But that's it for today. Thanks for being here. Let me know what I've missed out on down below in the comments. Anything you think should be in the deck, again, let me know. But please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you the next time you turn up and watch one of my videos. Or, you know, come and join me on Twitch. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, and Sunday afternoons is when I'm streaming. And you're more than welcome to come and join me on MTGO and try and beat me up. The more the merrier over there. But, you know, take care, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.